if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. I am your co-host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, along with co-host
Dr. Chris Demczar. Happy Saturday, everybody.
It is, and we're happy to be on WBT today. We are sharing some incredible news on how to heal yourself from energy. We've been doing an entire energy series for you guys, and we've been getting some great feedbacks, good comments. The entire ebook has been downloaded over 100 different times just since last week. The entire thing is here, guys. Look at this. Pages upon pages upon pages of data, and it's yours for free. Now, some of you have been saying, I didn't get the ebook. Okay, well, text over again. We had some issues with our system, and emails weren't working. So if you didn't get it, 704-906-2094. Text your name and email. If you're like, what? I'm just hopping on. I didn't even know you were doing an energy series. Okay, guess what? This is your last chance, guys. Today is the last Saturday to grab this ebook for free.
Yep.
Why? What are we doing next Saturday?
Yeah, we've got our energy webinar.
The entire energy webinar is next Saturday. So today is your last chance to get this for free and to join us for the energy webinar that we're hosting. How to solve your energy, get rid of chronic fatigue, get rid of adrenal fatigue, to restore your batteries the right way so you have so much energy you could give it away.
That's right.
704-906-2094. Here's the ebook. It's yours free. You have to text. Thank you. Look at that. They're texting already. You have to text your name and your email. Even last week, you know what we got? Ebook. Okay, that's great. But what's your name and your email? I had somebody say, hey, I was listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. I heard it was all about energy. I'd like the ebook. You spent all that time to text that.
Spent all that energy.
But you didn't send us the most important, name and email. So, Dr. Chris, we're now 3 episodes deep into restoring energy. Today is a fun one.
Yeah,
Could
definitely.
you be toxic fatigued?
Yep.
So we talked about mitochondrial fatigue.
That's right.
We talked about neurological fatigue.
Yep.
We talked about gastric fatigue, microbiome dysfunctions. Here's the final fatigue. Toxicological fatigue.
Yeah.
And we're going to break today's show into 3 categories. You might be taking a medication for your condition that's causing fatigue. You might be exposed to chemicals that are causing fatigue, or you might be metallically toxic. So like mercury and lead. We've talked about this with every episode we do, how metals can cause fatigue.
That's right.
So today's Ask Dr. Ernst hour is on fixing your toxicological fatigue.
Yep.
Hey, real quick, let's give a refresher. How does the human body actually make energy? Like, what does it do to do that?
Yeah. Well, we've got these super awesome pieces in our cell called mitochondria, and the mitochondria take and utilize a bunch of different energy sources to create this adenosine triphosphate molecule that's called the ATP molecule. That is the energy molecule of our body, and your body uses ATP for every cellular process to then just to drive those processes forward, right? So you don't work without ATP.
So it's the food I eat
Yep.
gets turned into fats, proteins, and carbs.
That's right. Sugars.
And with oxygen and water,
Yep.
these mitochondria make energy.
That's right. That's the most efficient way that your body can make energy. There's a few different ways, but ideally you want to use that pathway.
Mitochondrial.
Right.
Now,
that
here's
pathway.
something, and this might be new for you. I did a research study and found out, watch this, one glucose molecule produces 30 to 38 ATP molecules if healthy. Now, watch this. One amino acid, which is an individual protein, produces 14 molecules of energy. So sugar's going to give you more bang for your buck than protein. But now, ready for this? One fatty acid molecule gives you 100 ATP. So watch this, guys. Fats give you more energy than sugar, which gives you more energy than protein. Now, when most people are tired, what do they run for?
Oh gosh, that quick fix, right?
Of a carbohydrate, some sort of salty, sweet snack, right? What you should run for are olives and avocados and butter and coconut oil. Like imagine the weird world where someone's like, man, I'm so tired, and they lug a tablespoon of coconut oil. That's what we do because we know fats are 100, carbs are 30 to 38, and proteins are 14. Did you hear that? That's insane, guys. If you didn't know that, that's why you're struggling for your energy.
And real quick side note. Do you guys realize that the food that you're intaking is dictating the specific pathway of energy that you're going to utilize? So if you're constantly taking in sugars and carbs and those quick fixes, your body's going to become conditioned to say, well, hey, we're really good at using these sugars.
Yes.
And then there could be a really toxic byproduct from that. And we see that all the time where we're leading to people that are, we've talked about this before on other shows with diabetes and cholesterol and other health issues.
All the
because
free
of
radical species that are produced from the waste of this. And watch this. If you're so used to eating sugar, but you do go low sugar, doesn't your body make its own sugar because it's so used to sugar? So it rips your muscles apart.
Yep.
You have stored sugar in your liver. So even though you're like, oh, I've been doing a low carb diet for 2 weeks, Yeah, you had enough sugar in you for 2 months.
That's right. So can you see it's the conditioned pathway. So if your pathway is conditioned to say, well, we'll just use sugar all the time. That's what we're best at using. That's what my body's best at using. Of course, that's what you're going to naturally gravitate towards. So you've got to break that cycle and recognize, hey, there's a better source of energy out there that's healthier for my body to utilize. I'm going to be reconditioned to utilize this fat pathway. It's going to give me more energy and it's going to be less toxic in the long run.
So how do I do that? How do I recondition my metabolism to switch from sugars to fats?
Yeah.
What do I have to do for that?
Yeah, well, it just starts with the intake of food. So we'll start with what you're actually
So what
putting
you're saying
into your
is
body.
Stop eating carbohydrates.
Yep.
It takes 14 days for the switch to take place because
Approximately.
most of you store 14 days of sugar and eat mostly fats and proteins instead.
That's right.
And my body will be trained to burn these things.
That's right.
So it's called a metabolic switch.
Love that.
Okay,
Love that.
so toxins could potentially then interfere with this mitochondrial engine we have, correct?
Absolutely.
And how likely do you think this is? Like, do you think it's that every single person is dealing with this or just a few people?
Well, and so let me ask you guys this. For the listeners, do you think it's possible to avoid all the toxins that are out there in the world right now? Dr. Ernst, what do you think?
No.
Yeah,
and especially metal toxins because they're in everything.
That's right. Yeah, it's almost impossible to avoid any metal toxicities in today's day and age, especially with the widespread use of technological applications and computers. So it's 100% necessary that these metals are in the products that we're around every day. And so we're constantly being exposed, right? They're in the air. They're on the things that we're touching. And it's almost unavoidable at this point.
And I know what everybody's thinking, right? Well, how am I going to know what the toxins are? Okay, you see this page right here? I don't know. I'm holding it up to the camera.
Yeah, they can see it.
They can see it. There's the page, guys. It says at the top, chronic fatigue syndrome toxicity cause. And it says these are the most common toxins affecting your energy level, and here's how you get them out of your body. So if you want an exhaustive list, here's your ebook, 704-906-2094. It's free. We'll send it straight to you, but you have to call or send us your name and your email.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, where are these things? Like, if I'm going to say, how would I get exposed to metal? How does metal get in my body?
Yep, and that's kind of the first piece of the puzzle, right? We have to talk about that there's an exposure piece, so we have to accumulate these metals for them to even have this negative impact on our body. But then on the backside, we've got to be able to detox or eliminate them so that they're not wreaking havoc and causing a change in the normal processes of our own physiology, right? So our body can still work appropriately because we're able to get rid of these toxicities. So on the front end, yes, how do we get exposed? Well, it's coming from a lot of the industrial wastes in medicine. It's in the air, right? That was one of the things we mentioned before. In your water supply. Do you guys realize how toxic a lot of the water, even locally here in the greater Charlotte area, can be?
Don't even get me started on that. We did a whole show about how dangerous the water in Charlotte is.
Yep.
But isn't there day-to-day products I'm using that I might not think have metal in them that I'm being exposed to?
Yeah. Yeah, even some of the foods that you guys are eating, the vaccines that you've gotten, a lot of any certain paints that you're exposed to still have metals in them. And then, there's a lot of the basic products that you're putting and using on your body, shampoos, conditioners, deodorants, other hand soaps.
Let's do this, guys. They're all in the ebook, but we're going to tease you. Top 3 metals that you're exposed to every day that shut down and rob your energy. Number 1 is arsenic. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? I thought arsenic was something that you dealt with in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like, you remember you watch those old crime shows, Murdoch Mysteries, Downton Abbey. What are some other old shows, like period-ish shows, like the Parapalace, if you've seen
you were asking the wrong person that
So
question.
ready?
But I'm glad you know.
If you watch these shows, a lot of the times they're going to have some sort of, oh my God, this guy died because of arsenic poisoning.
Yep.
And you'd be like, what? Okay, so they're trying to remove arsenic. It's like rat poisoning, basically, trying to remove it from everything. But listen to this. According to a recent study, 4 million Americans are in hospitals because of arsenic poisoning. Now, where does arsenic come from? Because it's really unique. Like, where do we get it?
Yeah.
And the thing is it's almost always found in the water that you drink, or now watch this, in cheap protein powders. Now, rice is used in a lot of vegan protein powders, and rice naturally has a higher than normal occurring arsenic level. So if you're concentrating rice down into its individual proteins, then you concentrate the arsenic because it doesn't wash out. You can't just like rinse arsenic off. Right. So you get these things in high concentrations in very cheap protein products. and in contaminated water, which we know the United States is contaminated. So what does arsenic do though? Like, why is it so dangerous?
Yeah. So the biggest reason that arsenic is super toxic to our bodies as humans is that it reduces the ability of specific essential enzymes within our body to produce energy.
And those are in the mitochondria.
Yeah, those are directly in the mitochondria. So what is a direct effect of that going to be? It's going to increase the fatigue that people have. Right?
Because we can't make energy. So here I am. I've got a small amount of arsenic in my body. I eat 1 gram of sugar and I get 14 instead of 38. Or I eat the fats. You told me to eat the fats. I ate them. It didn't work because you're only getting 40 instead of 100. Okay, so it can shut off mitochondrial function. How would someone know? Like, what would be a way of me waking up and being like, man, I feel like I have arsenic, toxicity. Not poisoning, but arsenic toxicity.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of it's going to be a bunch of symptoms that you might think are like, oh, well, this could relate to one thing or something else could relate to another. But then you start putting it together and you're like, wait, these are being caused by the same thing. So you think about things like muscle weakness, major headaches and confusion. It could lead to, you're going to be fatigued, right? We already talked about that one. But as it gets more serious, it'll lead to seizures. So now you're trying to connect this muscle weakness, this fatigue, these seizures because of the neurological implications from the arsenic poisoning and not being able to detox appropriately from it. And so those are the things that you have to start putting together to be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And one of the reasons that, arsenic is, yes, there's this neurological component, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is that it's going to directly affect your muscles and the muscle fibers too, which is going to lead to even further fatigue, more fatigue. So now we're not only affecting the mitochondria within the cells, we're not only affecting the neurological pathways, which is going to stimulate the fatigue, but we're also affecting the muscles as well.
Because with fatigue comes weakness.
Yes.
I can't seem to I could do 100-pound pull-ups, but I can't. I used to bench 350. Now I can only do 100. Am I just getting older? No, you could be arsenic toxic.
Right. Or it could even be simple things like, oh my gosh, I used to be able to just stand up out of this chair, no problem. And now what happened?
Pick up your
I'm
kids
so
with
sore.
no back pain.
That's right.
Okay, so listen, arsenic is very prevalent in the global panels we run with arsenic levels being high. Now here's a big one, okay?
Yep.
This guy starts with an A, just like arsenic, but it's in everything. And when I say everything, I mean like even food has this stuff in it. We had a patient the other day who was showing me a supplement they were taking, and it actually had this metal in the supplement
oh my gosh.
as an aluminum sulfate. And then the deodorants that we use have aluminum tetrahydrozirchromia whatever antiperspirant. And then the baking soda that we use in like cleaning our house and that we put in our foods and our cookies and our cakes and our crackers, aluminum. And then the very pots and pans you cook on.
Yep.
So why is aluminum such a big issue? Like, what does aluminum do? And how much aluminum is the average American actually eating every day? Like, it's ridiculous.
It is crazy. It's crazy to think that the average American is consuming about 7 to 9 milligrams of toxic aluminum metals daily.
Every day, guys. And if you're like, no, this is definitely not me. Okay. Yeah. If you eat anything that is wrapped or packaged in a plastic, cardboard, whatever, has a peel top lid, I guarantee you there's aluminum in there.
Mm-hmm. And so here's the really big thing about aluminum toxicity where with the arsenic, let's say the symptoms, they come on a little bit more quickly. So you're like, oh my gosh, I can tell something's off. I might need to do some sort of a detox. I might need to get rid of some heavy metals in my body. With aluminum, you may not realize that at first, right? It's something that's going to accumulate over long periods of time. And
I could be using my deodorant since I was 10.
That's right. And it might be 40, 50, 60 years. And you're like, no, it didn't cause any problems. What are you guys talking about? But here's the thing. The new research is coming out, guys. It's showing that the aluminum poisoning is slowly leading to dementia in older age. So Alzheimer's, I was say other
Parkinson's,
neurodegenerative diseases, right?
Yes.
And so that's not something that you can do. So do you guys see what we're getting at? Using something from when you were a kid all the way up to, once we start getting into the second half of our lifespan, I'll call it, that we have to be able to make that connection and be able to see the distinction and say, yes, wow, look, it's something we did from a long time ago, has accumulated a high enough level of toxicity that's leading to these problems now.
So watch this, ready? What are the symptoms of aluminum toxicity?
Yeah.
Fatigue,
muscle weakness,
numbness and tingling. Does it sound a lot like arsenic? Because metals do the same thing. They shut down mitochondrial function. They make you inefficient in energy production. And the effect is I'm tired and I'm weak and I can't remember things.
Yep.
Now, how many of you have had that? Like, It's because I was working out real hard. No, it's because I'm so stressed. I have 2 kids and I'm 4 kids. I'm losing my mind. That's why I'm tired. I don't think so.
Right, yeah. Let me just, real quick, with the whole like working out and being tired, technically, working out should be an upper for you.
That's what I'm saying.
Your energy should be like, woo, I'm ready to go. Let's go lift some more.
You shouldn't be tired by working out.
That's right. There could be like an acute level of muscle fatigue and soreness that then should go away. Right, and that should only be lasting, anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds up to a minute, and then that should go, and then you should be ready to do whatever the next set is, the next exercise is. If you're like, I went and did a workout, but I'm just gassed, and I'm done the rest of the day, there's something else going on. Promise you guys.
And here's the thing. Those are the initial symptoms that happen 40 years later. Did you hear me? The initial symptoms of aluminum toxicity show up years later.
Right.
But now watch. Because most people go, well, I'll go see a doctor. Now we're taking medications to deal with the fatigue and the sleepless nights and the muscle weakness, and the aluminum is still there wreaking havoc. So watch this. Cardiac complications, liver dysfunction, bowel dysfunctions, neurodegeneration starts kicking in. And I doubt that grandparent who has their kids, I'm so worried about, Grandpa Joe, he can't remember anything. We got to take him to a nerve specialist, a neurologist. He's taking his Alzheimer's pills. We're so worried about him. He's running around the house without even knowing who he is. He's not wearing pants. That is aluminum toxicity, long-standing.
And here's the crazy thing, guys, right? So you go to get medications for some of these long-standing symptoms that Dr. Ernst is describing, and so you start chasing those symptoms, but what is the aluminum toxicity even doing in your body, right? So here we go. Aluminum toxicity is going to inhibit glutathione production.
That's huge.
Which is a lot. So
huge.
Glutathione, extremely important antioxidant that's going to help to lower that free radical damage within your body. We all know free radicals are a bad thing. We don't want them in our body. And so we need glutathione to help lower those levels. When we have toxic levels of aluminum, it lowers the amount of glutathione that we have actively available to do its job. And so that's going to allow the free radicals to do what? Increase tremendously to great amounts. It's way too high for our body to be able to deal with.
Here's something else. We know this, but I doubt you know this. Aluminum blocks iron from being within the mitochondria, and you can't make energy without iron and oxygen.
That's right.
So therefore, you get this immense amount of rust.
Yes.
That's around the mitochondria because it can't get in there. It sucks the iron out of the mitochondria and brings it outside the cell. And the mitochondria themselves become oxidized and they rust. And now you have that diagnostic condition we talked about 2 shows ago, mitochondrial metabolic disease. And guess what? There's no pill for this, but the fix is you just got to get the metals out.
That's right. And so then, but you guys might be going, well, you guys were talking about dementia and all these other neurodegenerative diseases. Yeah, the high levels of free radicals are going to lead to damage to your nervous system.
And the metals themselves are neurotoxic.
That's right.
Okay, third one, we've got about 2.5 minutes, thallium. Now, here's the thing about thallium, guys. It is everywhere. And there was a 2006 study that said even your vegetables like cabbage and cauliflower, kale and broccoli, all these things that are healthy are super high in thallium. Why? It is unfortunately a byproduct of burning coal for energy. The ash that's left over is extremely high in thallium. And a lot of these coal plants that are really old, like think about this, how long have we been burning coal for energy to make electricity?
Oh my gosh, hundreds of years.
Since electricity was founded, like if you can even find it. But you know what I mean? Like we commercialized electricity, created the energy plants, made people buy electricity, and it started with coal. So we're talking like hundreds of years old. And a lot of the coal burning plants are hundreds of years old. And they have cracks in their basins, all the ash waste. Like think about it, you take a piece of wood and you burn it, there's charcoal left over. Ash. So what do you do with it all? Well, you gotta bury it in the ground. Well, then it goes and leaches, and the metals in the coal, the thallium, can get into the water supply. Plus, all the residue of the smoke of burning coal puts the metals in the air, and then guess what? It precipitates down as rain, and it gets everywhere. Now, here's the thing. They know that thallium shuts off ATP production because it stops a specific reaction and you get these highly reactive oxidative species. It decreases the levels of dopamine and serotonin in the brain, and that leads to what?
It's going to lead to all sorts of
anxiety,
neurodegenerative
depression,
diseases.
And I'm telling you right now, guys,
long-term
watch this.
Parkinson's.
The number one prescribed prescription drug in the U.S. today is no longer for your heart. It's no longer for your thyroid. It's for depression and anxiety. SSRIs, Wellbutrin, Xanax, Zoloft, all these things, they actually cause fatigue. Did you hear that? We're going to come back from our commercial break and talk about not just metals, but the medications that you're taking are causing fatigue. And listen, this is your opportunity. We got 38 seconds before this commercial's coming on the door. It's like a tiger about to pounce on us. We can hear it. You hear it? I hear it. Call 704-906-2094 or text your name and email. The ebook is yours for free. All the metals, even the tests that you can do. Because I know what you're thinking. How do I find out if I have the metals? Ebook. How do I get rid of the metals? Ebook. What am I supposed to do to heal? That's the webinar. Do you see it? Next Saturday, guys. 10 a.m. in the morning. It's the 13th of August. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm Dr. Ernst. This is Dr. Demczar. We will be right back.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield with Greenfield Water Solutions, and I want to introduce you to our newest product, the MR500. It's a whole house structured water filter system. It's set up in an all stainless steel multi-round filter housing. It features inlet and outlet for the water, a bleeder valve for when you're changing out the filters to reduce pressure, and to remove the top for access to the filters. You simply open up the clamp, remove the top, and this plate here holds all the filters in place. Simple to remove. It comes out, and you can see what we have on the inside here. It's 5 Aquamedics filters and a vortexing tube and a harmonizer. That's the whole system. This is designed to filter 5 gallons per minute, and all of the contaminants that it does remove are listed on the website, which is very broad array of contaminants. These are the highest rated filters that I know of on the market that are filter cartridges. They can be changed out yearly. And of course, the process is very simple. You won't have to hire a plumber to do a change out. And the filters are available from Greenfield Water Solutions. And if you want to know more about this, you can read about it on the product page or give us a call. Thanks for watching. That's it for now from Greenfield Water Solutions.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
To bring you the best natural wine the world has to offer, we've designed a fully curated membership program. Every selection you receive is different and unique. Every wine is picked by our wine team, lab tested for purity, and curated into a special box for your enjoyment. So how does the membership work? We offer 2 main options, a half case of 6 bottles or a full case of 12. You can request all reds, all whites, or a perfect split of both. Then, you can set the frequency, monthly or every other month. We offer a similar simple membership for rosé and sparkling wines. After you choose these basic options, we'll do the rest. With every box we send you, we aim to present the greatest diversity of flavors, textures, and profiles. There's a healthy mix of the classics, but also rare varietals. We do this because natural wines taste different from their commercial counterparts. We want to share the best possible experience with you, so you can discover new wines you love. And you can always reorder a wine that took your heart, or ask us to avoid certain profiles. The best part is, you don't need any wine knowledge to fully enjoy these boxes. We curate our selections to be enjoyed without worry. Ultimately, this is Dry Farm Wines. We are so grateful to be able to share the power of natural wines with you.
Good afternoon, happy Saturday, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. I'm your co-host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, along with co-host
Dr. Chris Demczar.
Ooh, we almost jinxed it.
Almost together.
And hey, it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. We're discussing energy as a third part to our series. We've been doing this for the last 3 weeks now, and today is, could I be toxic? And that's why I'm so tired. Get
Absolutely.
it? Toxic, tired, tease. I don't know, I was trying for something. Anyway, at the top of the hour, we discussed how you're being exposed to over 80,000 known chemical toxins and it's robbing the life out of your mitochondria, which are the small cells within your cells that make energy.
That's right.
And we discussed the top 3 chemical toxins that are metallic based. That's arsenic, aluminum, and thallium. And if you're going like, gosh, I missed that. I was tuned into another station listening to Beyonce and, I don't know, Jay-Z and who else? What are some of the other good artists
Florida
today?
Georgia line.
Well, now you're
throwing
on
in some country.
though. Keith Urban, Kenny Chesney, or maybe you're over there in the, I don't even know this, the rap world, right? No, that's dance, isn't it? Anyway, you're tuning around stations. You land on WBT. You're like, wow, energy. I want to fix it. You grab this ebook right now, 704-906-2094. It's the call line that we've been using for 15 years. You guys should have this memorized. 704-906-2094. Call or text your name and email. The ebook is free. It has everything. Listen to this. Listen what's in here. Okay, again, while you guys are texting in, 704-906-2094. The invisible disease, chronic fatigue. Ooh, that's deep.
So
what
undiagnosed.
causes chronic fatigue? The neurological cause. We talk about subluxations, your spine being out of alignment. Look at this, guys. We got everything. All the diagrams, all the graphs. Watch this. This is great. How to read an x-ray and find out if your neck is out of alignment or if your back is out of alignment, causing your fatigue, making your adrenal glands shut down. What's next? Dr. Chris, tell me about this one. Look at this. The effects of your atlas misalignments on everything.
Right. Getting into
Look
the
at this
vagal
one.
system.
The digestive system.
Yep. Metabolic.
How about-
energy wasting.
How about this one? Ready?
Yep. Cellular energy causing
Meaning
chronic fatigue.
Mitochondria, everything we talked about. We'll keep going. Let's keep going. What about this one? There's your mitochondrial regeneration diet.
That's right. So the things that you guys can eat right now to be able to help regenerate your mitochondria.
Here's our entire show today. The toxic
Toxicity.
cause, the most common toxins affecting your energy levels and how you need to detox them. Even tests that'll show your toxicity levels. Hey, I want to get this book. How do I get this?
Yeah. All you guys got to do is text your name and email to 704-906-2094.
Now watch this.
Free.
What's that one? Dietary
the dietary causes.
Did you know that a Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin pie donut has 42 ingredients?
Ugh.
And
how many of them are actually food?
Ingredients, listen to this. Aluminum is in a Dunkin' Donuts donut. We talked about that earlier. Watch this. Sodium acid pyrophosphate, casein, yellow number 6, carrageenan, polypropylene glycol.
Yeah,
If you don't know these,
yeah.
they cause cancer, Alzheimer's, and decreased liver kidney function. Now look at this. An organic gluten-free donut that you make has 12 ingredients. What do you think takes more energy, 42 ingredients or 12 to digest and break apart?
Well, and considering that they're not even really ingredients, they're chemicals. Like I feel like they shouldn't even be classified as ingredients because those are not food ingredients, which is what we think of the ingredient list being.
What if they did this? What if the ingredients was broken down into categories? Real ingredients, fake ingredients. Just saying. We've got a list of your top 20 fatigue-fighting foods. That's fun to get. How do you get them again? 704-906-2094. We did this last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
The
four
adrenal
phases,
fatigue show.
and adrenal burnout.
The 4 faces of fatigue. And then watch this. How to know if your tests, when you get them done. Remember we said, guys, it's all in here. We talked about this last week. Is your cortisol high or low? Is your DHEA high or low? What are the symptoms? And then the best part of it all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients you need for your mitochondria to turn on. There you go, 704-906-2094.
Love it.
And listen, look, it's happening right now.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know who this is because you didn't give us your name and you didn't give us your email. Please, I want the ebook is what it says. You can have it, but you got to text us back, 704-906-2094. Do it. Okay, we talked about thallium, we talked about aluminum, we talked about arsenic, we talked about the mitochondria. What are some other things I'm swallowing that's robbing me from my energy?
Yeah. And what you hinted at this at the top of the show, but the medications that people are taking, super toxic.
And this isn't just prescriptive, okay?
Right.
Over-the-counter meds.
OTCs, people.
And let's think, what's the most commonly famous over-the-counter drug that makes you tired when you take it? Do you know what it is? Okay, it's like
I don't.
5-year-old could buy this.
Outside of like Tylenol.
Well, no, that's
not going to make them.
Benadryl
Okay.
is an antihistamine that a lot of people take because of having an allergic reaction or having allergies, right?
Yes.
Some people do admit, and I'll say this just because we work with a lot of people, I kind of slip my kids a Benadryl every night because I want them to go to sleep. So we know The side effect is drowsiness and fatigue. So that's just one minor example. And that's an over-the-counter drug. Now let's talk about the big boys. What are the big boys that cause, fatigue and muscle weakness and things like that?
Yeah.
So these are the ones you go to your doctor for.
Yep. So these are your muscle relaxers. How many of you guys have been prescribed a muscle relaxer?
My God, you know how many people go to their doctor and get a muscle relaxer?
It's so classic.
Pain
It's so
pills and
common.
muscle relaxers.
Yep.
So what are these things?
Yeah.
Give us some examples.
Yeah. So these are things like big words, guys. But your like cyclobenzaprine.
That's Flexeril.
Right. You can get carisoprodol, which is Soma,
Good
or
job pronouncing that.
Xanaflex, which is tizanidine.
Tizanidine.
Woo!
And how they come up with the names for half these medications, they're just like, I think they're sneezing, and they're like, that's a good one, like Tizanidine. You get it? Anyway, so Xanaflex, Flexeril, Soma, these are very common prescribed muscle relaxers.
Yeah.
So think about this. The job of them is to relax your body.
Yes.
Now, if you do it chemically, you're also going to relax your energy production, which is why you feel tired and sort of like at peace and ease.
Right.
So it's the number one most prescribed energy destroyer are the muscle relaxers. What's number two?
Yeah, definitely the antidepressants, which are becoming the most prescribed medication
Ridiculous.
here in America. So, and there's so many of them. Like, you guys thought there was a lot of muscle relaxers. There's way more antidepressants. Sorry. So look at this list. The trazodone, there's Lexapro, there's Prozac, Paxil, Celexa, Cymbalta, there's Effexor, Elavil, Pamelor, and the list just goes on and on and on.
Right? So like, why are there so many antidepressants?
Yeah.
Why do we have so many different antidepressant drugs?
Well, because it's such a big market for it.
And as most of you are going, I'm losing my mind. I feel terrible.
Yep.
I'm anxious. I'm stressed. I'm worried. I'm depressed. And that's all a sign of chronic fatigue, just so you guys know.
That's right. So much fatigue going on. And instead of saying, hey, let's actually get to the root cause, figure out why you're tired in the first place, what might you be doing to then hold on to these toxicities so you're accumulating them over time, and that is leading to your fatigue. You're going to your medical provider, and they're saying, hey, we'll just change the antidepressant that you're on.
Now,
a little bit of a different dose, slightly different mechanism of action, and boom, off you go.
Now listen to this. 42% of people taking trazodone, which they don't really use as much anymore, but some people are still taking it, say the number one issue with taking it is they are tired. Wait a second. Okay, serotonin SSRIs like Lexapro, Celexa, Paxil, Prozac. The number one side effect is sleepiness, tiredness. All the SNRIs, these are a little more complicated. They're newer, the selective serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. But these are the famous ones, Cymbalta, Effexor, Pamelor. What they do is they also cause drowsiness and fatigue.
Yep.
So the side effect of you trying to make your brain calm down is you calm down and you're tired and fatigued. Let's do this one because this is a big deal for a lot of people. Many of our listeners are taking these guys and they cause fatigue.
Yeah. So your beta blockers.
So first of all, what classification of medication typically is a beta blocker?
Yeah, so it's used because it's going to help with it's anything that ends in an LOL. So it's not laugh out loud, guys. It's any medication that ends in your LOLs.
But what do they prescribe
and
for?
so
typically?
prescribed typically for blood pressure or helping prevent a heart attack. So something related, some cardiovascular function, typically. And it can help to control the heart rate in patients with irregular heart rate, things like that.
And this is the here we go, right? Metoprololols, the carvedalols, the bisprolols, the propanolols, the all-lolols, right?
All the lols.
If it ends in all-alol, O-L-O-L, that's a beta blocker.
Yeah.
Now, what does this thing do? Like, why would I get so tired with this?
Yeah, well, it's already going to lower your heart rate, right, to help just try to let your body rest and relax and recover from a cardiovascular standpoint. So similar to how a lot of the antidepressant medications are going to get the neurotransmitters relaxed within your nervous system, this is doing the same thing but from a heart standpoint. And so it's going to make the rest of you tired as well as a byproduct. And what's really interesting is we're talking about all these medications and how they have a direct effect on causing fatigue by shutting down the mitochondrial function. Yes. But we're not even talking about and bringing into the fact, and I think we should bring this to light, there's a back end breakdown for all these medications. These medications after they have their effect, which that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the effect. The medications then have to be broken down pharmacologically within your body to be eliminated.
And where does that take place?
And that's got to take place within your digestive system. That's got to take place
yes.
within your liver. Yep. And then certain things are going to be excreted by the kidneys or absorbed by wherever else into your body. And so there's a lot of other pathways that a lot of these breakdowns are going to go.
I see where we're going.
That's going to lead to potentially more toxic buildup, which is going to lead to greater accumulation of all the same things that are already causing your fatigue.
And how much energy does it take to get something that's toxic and foreign out of you?
That's right.
More than
Way
if it was
more.
natural.
Way
now,
more.
here's the other thing. Did you know that some medications require your body to convert it into a secondary byproduct in order for the initial activation to take place?
Well, in most medications, if you were just given the active part of that
Yes.
medication, it would be toxic.
It would kill you
and it would,
immediately.
you'd die.
So they give you a precursor form.
Yes.
So, for example, and this happens a lot with chemotherapy drugs, because, man, you want to talk about like
toxicity.
most toxic. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go all the way to the toxic ones, okay? Chemotherapy is like dropping a grenade in a room for rats. You blew the whole room up and you killed the rats at the same time, okay? So you have this drug that if you gave the active version directly to a person, they would die immediately.
Right.
So they convert it into an inactive drug that the liver will convert into the active drug.
Yes.
And then you get the effect. And that happens a lot with medications. But some medications, they make the initial effect, and then there's a byproduct, a waste product of the medication. And
Right.
your liver has to go, man, I got to get rid of this. And the kidneys and the digestive system and the bowels and the bile. And that's energy, guys. If you're not taking a medication, you're not wasting all your energy on trying to save your life from the side effects of the drugs and the drugs themselves. Do you get that?
Absolutely.
Hey, how many healthy people take medications?
None that I know.
And how many people on medications are healthy?
None that I know.
Boom! Sorry.
But it's
keep
true.
going.
Yeah, no, it's truly true. Okay, so we were just chatting about the LOLs, the beta blockers, and how they're going to rob you of your energy because they're going to force your cardiovascular system to slow down, thus making your energy production systems also slow down, right? So there's some energy being robbed. But we have to keep going. We've got things like, then we can get into the narcotic
Pain
side
pills,
of things,
I mean,
and the
my
pain
God.
pills, and the benzodiazepines, and all things that are going to help you to treat pain and insomnia.
You get anxiety.
And
right?
anxiety, yep. So those are the things that are going to, again, they make you sleepy, robbing you of pain.
So I'm going to make it real simple. If you're taking something prescriptive that you can only get from a pharmacy with the sheet of paper, which is no longer a sheet of paper, it's like electronic now. But if you have to go pick it up because your doctor ordered it, I guarantee you fatigue and drowsiness and sleeplessness and muscle weakness are a side effect. So is it possible that you're just tired because you're taking medications? Yes. Is it possible that you're tired because you're toxic from heavy metals? Yes. Is it possible that you're toxic because of pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and household products? Yes. But in our last 8 minutes, we're going to talk about the two toxins that nobody talks about and how these things are so prevalent and they cause so much damage to your health. And they're so misdiagnosed by conventional medicine that they put you on more pills to just deal with the fatigue and the anxiety and the muscle pain and the aches. These are biotoxins. Now, I'm going to say this again. Biological toxins, living entities that can create toxic effects in the body, most commonly known as viruses, bacteria, and mold. Living things. And of all three of them, which is the most dangerous? Do I need to worry about viruses and bacteria?
No.
Yeah, your body's designed to take care of them.
Right. The body's
But
designed to be
worst
healthy. Right?
of the worst biotoxin ever is
Mold. Absolutely.
So let's go through this, okay? How on earth do people get exposed to mold? Like, how would I get mold in my body?
Yeah, I mean, so mold is all over the place typically, but it's mostly in you may be consuming it without even realizing it.
So I can eat it. So let's go through
products.
this. What foods are high in mold? Chocolate grows a lot of mold inside of it.
I was going to say the big one, coffee.
Coffee. Oh my God. Listen, if you're going to talk about like, Dr. Ernst, I don't get exposed to mold. Do you drink coffee? You're exposed to mold. Unless you're buying a specific lab certified mold free coffee. And there's really only a few in the United States. Okay, you got to be careful about this. We can do a whole show on mold if we want. Maybe we should. Who knows? Okay. Cheese that actually has mold in it, growing, that you can see, that you decide to eat. Like, I don't know. Who came up with this? Hey, let's grow mold in this cheese and tell people it's blue cheese. And then anything that is grain-based will grow mold in it. And now here's a fun fact, okay? Did you know if you pick up like a whole loaf of bread,
Yep.
and there's some mold on this side of the bread, and you're like, flick, flick, flick.
Oh, we're good now.
These are good.
Yeah. Nope.
The
Not.
roots of the mold are throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
What you're looking at is the flower of the mold, the yellow or the green or the gray,
Right.
seeds of the mold on the outside. And so, my dad would always be like, oh, I just chuck those 3 away and eat the rest of it. I didn't know anything different. And guess what? Mold toxic.
That's right.
Okay, so here's the thing behind mold. They have the ability, these toxins from the mold, to get into your brain. And this is why this is so ridiculously insane. These mold toxins have the ability to get through the blood-brain barrier and go into your brain. Now watch this. Mold has been shown to disrupt the neurotransmitter production and the ability for neurotransmitters to actually bind to your neuroreceptors. So therefore, we see serotonin goes all over the place, dopamine goes all over the place. And watch this. What would that be diagnosed as?
Yeah, that'd be diagnosed as like a neurotransmitter, neurodegenerative disease.
Or also things like anxiety and depression. And
Got
they
you,
give
from the
an
symptom
SSRI.
standpoint.
Do you see where I'm going with this? So what causes the anxiety and the depression is mold toxins. Now, medicine can say, well, your neurotransmitters are all over the place, so we're going to give them to you. That's the SSRIs, the benzodiazepines, but they're never going after the root cause, which is mold. I know this sounds crazy and insane, but mold is the #1 toxin that many of you are dealing with.
So, Dr. Ernst, if people want to know if they have or if they've been exposed to a mold toxicity, if their body's dealing with mold at this very moment, how would they be able to do that?
So really, there's only one way. We can go off symptomatology, and mold symptoms are chronic fatigue, tiredness, brain fog, forgetfulness, and then it starts to spill over into anxiety, depression, stuff like that. But the only way to truly know if you've been mold toxic is you have to get tested. There are ways that we can check certain molecules, these kind of CD4, CD3 molecules that are basically complement proteins, and we can look at ratios of them to determine if you've been exposed recently or chronic. Okay, there's a very specific pattern for this. Certain blood tests will come back and show a shift in CD3 and 4 one way, chronic exposure, or another way, acute exposure. The challenge is every single person I know of has been exposed to mold at some point in their life.
Sure.
Okay, when it rains here in Charlotte and it's over 70 degrees and the humidity is over 40%, which is basically all the time,
Right.
mold grows. And then what happens is the reason rain is such a big deal, all the rain droplets come down, boosh, they hit the stuff that the mold is growing on, and the spores come out. You breathe them in, but then get this. Your body is designed to deal with a certain amount of mold. But when you exceed the level of mold that your body can deal with, then it grows in you.
Yep.
And it can get in your intestines, it can get in your lungs, then it secretes what's known as mycotoxins. And there are specific mycotoxins that have actually been researched. Listen to this one. Mycotoxin orchatoxin A has been shown to be the leading mycotoxin behind fatigue because it decreases oxygenation. And what can't I make if I don't have oxygen?
Can't make energy.
Can't make those ATP molecules. I was
Right.
about to say ADP. But
Those exist too. Those are the precursors.
Yes,
we
but
need
it's also an alarm company, isn't it? ADT.
ADT.
ATP. Ugh. Anyway, ATP molecules can't be made. #2, it actually shuts off your mitochondria. It takes them and just squeezes the life out of them. And #3, it blocks and interferes with neurotransmitters. This is just one mycotoxin called orchatoxin A. Do you know how many mycotoxins there are?
Oh, I'm sure there's hundreds, if not
It's
thousands.
based upon which strain of mold.
Right.
And there are thousands of strains of mold, some more toxic than others. Black mold, famously the most toxic mold ever. If you see black mold growing in your house and it's pushing off spores in the air, toxic. Okay, so the challenge is this. These environmental toxins have been shown in studies to cause problems. Why don't you read this to them? This is recent, 2019. What does it say? Listen to this, guys. Listen to this study.
That's right. So in 2019, a study reported that 39.4% of CFS patients, that's chronic fatigue syndrome patients, sampled reporting that their symptoms of being so tired, especially after doing something, so they went and exercised, went for a walk, and they were wiped, gassed after that. That symptom, that experience was triggered because of a mold exposure.
And watch this. They tested their urine. This is they're gonna blow your mind. They tested these chronic fatigue syndrome patients, and 93% of them had at least one mycotoxin in their urine, and 30% of them had more than one. Did you hear that? 93% of fatigued individuals have a mycotoxin in their urine, which means it's in their body. I don't know if anybody's talking about this in the functional space or the holistic space, but I implore you, download this ebook. It has the answers you're looking for with fatigue. How do they do that? How do they get this ebook?
Yeah, you got to text your name and email right now, guys, 704-906-2094. And then don't just stop there, because you're going to get the opportunity to sign up for our energy webinar, which is happening next Saturday, August 13th, 10 a.m. You don't want to miss it. You're going to come hang out with us in the morning. We're going to give you all the information you need to know of how you can get your energy back, your energy reset that you need to take control of making all the energy your body needs so you can go and live the life that you want.
Now's the time, guys. 704-906-2094. Once again, 704-906-2094. Call or text, name and email now. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm so excited that you guys tuned in with us today. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the webinar next week, but also on our show next week as we bring more health and healing for you so you become your own doctor. It's called the show that gets rid of pounds of shed of disease and weight and energy. We want everything to restore itself back to normal, and you can do that. Thanks for tuning in. You can also visit AskDrErnst.com for more information. Dr. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Ernst.
And I'll see you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Until then. All right, bye-bye.